wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. Of Ukraine.
Wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over war.
We are live with a live show.
All right,
ManCon
let's
29.
go.
Is that 30 is going to be in the DNC? Is that right?
Yeah, we planned it. It's just like we planned it.
Holy shit.
Just how we
See,
planned.
That's why there was the 0.5 chat, so that we could make sure that 30 was going to be in Chicago.
It's a little jump skip.
Wow.
Skip step thing.
Impressive. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Also, I didn't call Marcus loud. Chat called him loud, and you all need to examine your biases on that. Okay.
Please.
You know? And then chat tried to overcorrect and call him articulate, and I didn't like that either.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
How many times are you going to hit this joke? Okay.
I'm not the one. Joke? You asked your chat. They posed that question.
Well, you didn't have to respond to it. Yeah. We're supposed to be doing a podcast.
That's true. I like what they say too. I like their words. I like their funny words. Yeah, here we are.
I'm gonna put them on fucking normal emote mode.
Definitely a normal week this week.
I don't know if your chat saw. I got a new orb. I got a new cube, but it's orb.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
It's pretty good. It's powerful. It exudes a lot of confidence. You know.
I love orbs. You watch it. Yeah, I could watch it spin all day.
Man.
All right.
So round. Yeah, things and stuff. I am Lucid Fox of Lucid Fox on Twitch.
I'm Marcus from Struggle4 on Struggle_4 on Twitch and the YouTube.
Yeah. And here we are talking about the normalcy of the last few weeks that Trump has had. Just two pieces came out yesterday, Atlantic and New York Times. Both, and you can say both liberal publications, but both talking about the internal strife in his campaign right now.
Yeah.
Apparently he is not doing good.
Which there is, maybe a dozen people who are genuinely sad that Joe Biden stepped down, right?
Yeah, Trouble Man on Twitter is still a little broken up, but for the most part.
You got Joe Biden and his family, they would have liked to, ride it out, get 2 terms in.
Yeah.
There's a few, of the key staff around Biden, and then you got Trump, he's been a mess. You know what I'm saying? Ever since Biden dropped, he's been an absolute, George Slopadopoulos, as some people would say. It's been pretty gross.
It's been tough, man. And I don't know. It's very interesting to see him with, no real public appearances over the past couple of weeks. The last one that he really had before his interview or whatever was or before that press conference. But again, these are just little puff events that he's doing. The last thing he did before that was the National Black Journalists Association, where he
made some news.
Made some news, but did incredibly poorly, in the way of actually talking to people, actually trying to get his message across. Literally he got in the old cartoons, when you go check out Bugs Bunny or whatever, and they try to play him off, and then after that they fucking grab the big shepherd's hook and rip him off the stage. That's what they did to Trump at the end of the National Black Journalists Association talk. Yeah, they're like, okay, this guy's got to go later.
Yeah, exactly. There's a hole opens up in the floor, and you know what I'm saying? They start playing the funny music. Yeah. No, that's where that's, Trump has a problem because, he's just stuck, and I probably mentioned in this last one where it's he's not able to do big Like he's not filling out the event venues.
I think that's why.
I
think that's why he went to Montana. Because he knew that at least there, you know. What else are they going to do on a fucking Friday night? You know.
Which any normal fucking person that shows up and like you know fill 3 out of 4 decks, you're ecstatic. Like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
But especially coming from the past election, you know, the past 2 elections where he's actually filling them out and there's a waiting line, right? He's used to having people have to wait outside and get turned away.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting in. Some people get to spread out. And that's enough for Trump. And that's like exactly what a guy like him knows. That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference. If you're playing a live show, plan something small where people get turned away because that's what makes you look dope for the next time around.
Yes.
You know, and Trump understands that. He's not selling out. Kamala there's just a lot of energy, you know, and I don't think it's so much Kamala Harris is an exciting figure. There is, you know, having a black woman. Well, is she black? You know, having a black woman with Indian descent, you know, that brings excitement. The not Joe Biden, you know, it's like the sigh of relief factor, I think is a lot. This is where I think Kamala Harris as a person brings in is the black, you know, sorority and like having that divine 9, like literally having a network of volunteers ignite,
man,
you know,
like nobody wanted to do anything for Biden. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Oh man. And like, honestly, you know, so these are some things where, you know, I'd say like that and the fact, I mean, like she's got a long career in government. She's got a connection to a important black network, you know, her not being Joe Biden excitement has turned to a bunch of just regular Democrats, you know. I don't think they really brought people new, but the regular Democrats are like, oh my God, we can actually win.
Yeah.
We don't have Joe Biden, right? We just have anybody else.
She's also just replacing like a lot of that Biden campaign infrastructure that he had in place, like little by little. I don't know if she's gotten rid of like Jen O'Dillon or anything like that, but she's definitely just replacing a lot of those people with her senior advisors and her like people that she's adjacent to.
I don't know how many people are being replaced versus there's just additions. They're actually able to build a real campaign.
I think that's true. It just I was specifically. I don't think it was Axios. It was somebody that said over the weekend that she's started to make some replacements of. You know, the at least the senior staff, not the, you know, the people that are operating on like lower levels.
Whoever's making the ads, like whoever has been making these dipshit ads, they need to go.
Yeah.
They're awful.
Yeah, they're bad. But again, they're like those are swing state ads that we're looking at, I think, you know, like I know it's like, well, this is a national ad buy, but it's like those are made for people in fucking, you know, Wisconsin that are like, oh my God, someone's going to come from my farm.
The one targeting Latino voter, like the one targeting Latino voters is ass.
Yeah.
It's just like goddamn like Telemundo elevator music.
You know what they need?
Set to the normal policies and having different like people with like accents, you know, it's very condescending, you know, it's like you might as well just say like pulling out hot sauce out the fucking purse or some shit, but it's Tapatio.
You know what they need? They need the person that's making the ads for the UAW right now. Because those are fire. Those are amazing.
I wish
those are crazy. Like
I think
Sean Fain has a good staff around him.
Yeah, where he's got Zoomers around him, you know, he's got young people who are able to actually, you know, because that's where it is. It's like understanding how to manipulate media is always going to be a thing for the younger generation.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like that's just how new shit works. The new humans know how to use it better. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't ask questions. That's just a fact. I'll write a book on it later, but you know, you should understand it. But like, that's where, I mean, and like, look at any of the campaigns that have had any type of online media success, and they've got a group of young people who are running the show.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And so that's where, in some cases, I think Kamala's got some people on their social media, but once again, the ads are ass, and they completely need to start rethinking all this stuff. And this goes with the border, and like the whole messaging on that needs to just get thrown away. Because doing Republican light never works, but they keep trying it. And that's where, though, it's like getting back to Trump, though, where he's big mad because of Kamala and all these things are going well. And comes back to Twitter, and like and this is where I think part of this campaign shakeup, Elon's, millions of dollars, like 50 million per month that he's giving to the PAC. They changed over their staff. Yes. And Elon got a bunch of Ron DeSantis people to start running the PAC.
Amazing.
So if you thought it was weird,
got a bunch of losers. Got a bunch of Hitlerite losers.
Yeah, and that's what they use, like the original weird.
Yes.
Like that DeSantis video. That online, like DeSantis had the rollout, like his announcement on X, and it was like, it will go down in history as one of the worst campaign rollouts. I mean, it was being referenced to last night when they couldn't get this shit working. But that, and these are some of the weirdest freak shows like you can find to run a campaign. Yeah. So good luck, Trump.
Yeah. It's so, again, like even this decision to sit down, we'll get to it in a little bit, but even the decision to sit down and talk to Elon, it's like DeSantis' campaign already made that mistake. What are you doing? Why did you do this? For what reason? Who is this? Whenever I think of a campaign, and their decisions to put themselves in front of people, it's like, what are you hoping to gain out of that situation? And what were you hoping to gain out of this? Ron DeSantis made the same mistake and it gave him nothing. And you called him a fucking loser for it. All right? So why do you think now that it's going to be different? That Elon's actually going to have his shit together? That he's not going to suck as an interviewer?
Well, this was never going to go well, right? Yeah. Like the idea that they were going to be able to get this website to work, first try, and also Elon be normal. I mean, it's impossible. Yeah. Like no one who actually sees Elon anymore likes him. Part of any type of like stall in fucking Tesla sales, it's just because people don't like him.
Yeah.
Like it is just like, and there's like a bunch of racists that just keep outing themselves. Yeah. And, they keep siloing. And like the thing of like having some type of public square where this goddamn apartheid, emerald mine, Silverstone piece of shit, he buys the social media fucking thing, brings back a bunch of Nazis, turns it into this misinformation propaganda network.
Yeah.
And then brings on Trump, glazes him for 2 hours.
Incredible.
He was saying that, there's 1 billion views on it. And it's
incredible.
Like, dog, what is going on?
What does any of that
This is free
mean?
Speech.
Yeah.
It's like... Yeah, and so this is never going to go well, and that's where Trump's burned. When you talk about likely voters, when you talk about gettable voters, like Trump is almost completely burned. Yeah. The only thing he could do is try and convince these weirdo freaks, that like listen to kick streamers or love Elon Musk, right? People who think Cybertrucks are cool. Yeah. You got to convince them to vote. That's so all they got.
12-year-olds. Yeah. Well, they can't vote yet. So
listen, I mean, that's where the thing is, though. It's like, as much as it's like there are people who are 12
Yeah.
But then there are also people with 12-year-old minds.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Who are way too old to be, loving Elon Musk, but like they're around.
Yeah, they exist. Yeah, I don't disagree, but like I just don't think like those people are. I mean, realistically, if we want to talk about this in a practical fashion, like looking at the viewership last night, I saw a lot of like it shifting over the 2 hours, and it would regularly bring up like new names to like the top 12 people that are listening or whatever. And a lot of it was Ethereum people. Now, your gamble is how many libertarians weren't already going to vote conservative? And the corollary to that is how many of them did it convince to vote conservative? That were, like a lot of them probably are just going to vote for like RFK or some shit instead, or Chase Oliver.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they?
I don't think like my point is that's all they got. And they're aware of it. That's my point. Yeah. This is on the Democrats to lose. It seemingly should be impossible to drop this bag because not only do you've got like literally, Trump and the rape, sexual assault, 34 count felonies for the fraud, all the shit from all the shit with Trump. Then you got JD Vance, who's an absolute weirdo freak. Then, the thing that doesn't even get talked about enough is Congress. Yeah. They outed Speaker McCarthy. Yeah. McCarthy's talking about how Matt Gaetz is a fucking pedophile at the RNC. Like MTG showing Hunter Biden's hog. This should be a fucking layup.
Yeah.
Right? This already should be
Did you see,
and yet, right? We're here.
Did you see the USA Today poll today?
No, I did not.
The latest Florida poll has Kamala within 5 with a 4.4 margin of error.
Oh,
that's fucking insane, man.
Like, I mean, but like that's the thing,
like,
though.
His
is
favorables
that,
are only 3 point better than hers. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
If this dude loses Florida.
I mean, and this is where I think, like, from beforehand with Biden, and you've got this, like, because, like, abortion is on the ballot. And beforehand, it was like people can have their cake and eat it, too, where they think they can save their abortion but still vote for Trump. True. With Kamala Harris, it literally changes the dynamics so fucking much.
Absolutely.
Right? That now these two issues work in tandem with each other.
Yeah.
And
it's part of her stump. It's not just a part of her stump. It's tangentially a part of Tim Walz's stump as well.
Yeah. And IVF.
He talks about
Walz.
IVF. Well, actually, no, he does talk about keep your hands off our bodies and everything as well. Yeah, he talks about abortion and IVF in his,
Yes, right. But that's where, where Tim Walz and, this is where too of like trying and getting and making these like, getting some of these suburbs possibly out in some of these red states that's the question, I think. That's really the question. Yeah. And because that's gonna, really, decide what's gonna happen. And that's where too is like I think they need to also like get out in like rural areas, like they really need to just do every single county type of thing. But just like a month ago, like Virginia was was going into likely red, right? Yeah. And now, is Florida?
What a difference now it's like a month can make.
Georgia's looking good, North Carolina looking good, Florida, you know what I'm saying? Question mark. Ohio, looking better, so like all of these like dynamics change. And this is where I definitely do not want to give it to the Democrats because you've got a historically flawed candidate that daily makes himself look worse.
Yes.
And they're almost complete, they're the entirety of the congressional effort out of these Republicans for the past 2 years has been just insanity, so this is the easiest things for the Democrats not to fuck up. And they seem to be managing it so far.
It's true. We'll get back to them in a second. Let's I want to talk about the Trump Elon interview because I think it was one of the more insane things that I've ever listened to. It was
the nuclear
actually
warming.
like just the beginning, like him literally. So I don't know if you know this. I had to tell Chad about this today because what I did was I didn't listen to it last night with stream. I listened to it this morning. So I had to go and find it. So I went on YouTube and there are multiple different cuts of it. So there's the 2-hour normal cut that some people are providing. But then if you go to Daily Caller, they only give an hour and 44 cut of it. And they cut out the entire 20 minutes that he's talking about getting shot. I don't know why they did that, but they literally say at the bottom, this is the full interview of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. So I don't know, like, if they thought that it was completely low energy. I don't know if they thought that it just like fucking looked bad for him. Like, I'm not sure why they made this decision, but it's very interesting that they were like, skip that shit. Get right to the immigration stuff.
Listening to it up front, like it dragged on.
Yeah,
it was like 20 minutes of like,
it was an eternity. It was an eternity.
It's so wild, and that's, I think, in like a lot of the ways, like Elon is literally just kind of asking for like some scoop, right? He wants some fucking scoop about the
he wants
Secret Service.
He wants him to walk into a discussion. What he wants to do there is he wants to try to get, it's because you have two like diametrically opposing like ideas here. What Elon wants is for Trump to say it was the deep state. They were trying to take him out and they were trying to, how else could this have happened? It was a perfect sniper spot and everything else. And he wants to go conspiracy brain, but that doesn't work because for Trump, it's like, no, I survived this because I'm the best. Nobody else would have survived it. And like, like the only, like, it's just some loser that shot at me, and which Elon has to concede to eventually. He's just like, yeah, like he couldn't even make that shot, like, because like Elon absolutely wants it to be like conspiracy brain fucking nonsense because, again, he hasn't been a political actor for more than like 3 years. All right. Most of his existence was just like, oh, people love me because I'm the electric car guy. And then he got divorced and now his brain's broken. So
and that's where Trump's narcissism will not allow, God's divine intervention, choosing him to save him. Right?
Yeah. I will say it was very funny. There's one part where he's like, it almost made me a believer. I mean, more of a believer than I already am. And it's like,
exactly, dude. It almost made you open up the USA Bible.
Incredible.
Sell it.
I already love JC, but now that guy's in my top 5.
And it's top 5, not bad. The weirdest part, though, right, is when Donald Trump started nuclear warming up to Kamala Harris's picture on the the Time magazine.
Yeah.
And he just says, like, it was a drawing. A beautiful woman looks just like Melania, and it was just like, yo, dude,
I missed that.
What is going on here?
I listened to the first like hour and a half or something like that. I don't know. I miss the parts where he gets to being weird about Kamala Harris, but
it was like a small like moment where he just like, the picture and Time looking pretty good. And it's like, oh, gross, dude. What?
Oh, that's so weird. Yeah. I mean, again, like, you think about it, like, this is a guy that comes out of like, model competitions and shit like that. So Miss Universe type of shit. So, like, that's his brain, he just sees women and he's like, oh, I know what she's good for, It's like, oh, man. God.
Oh, my God.
We only listened to 40 minutes? Jesus Christ. It was an eternity this morning.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I got through him. I got to the point where he was talking about like Vladimir Putin, and where like I had to stop, but because I couldn't keep going. Where he's like, I was talking to Vlad, and he said no way, and I said way. Fuck! What?
And I said way.
Yeah, like,
Oh
okay,
my
dude,
God,
good,
yeah.
good, cool,
No,
normal.
That's where it's like Elon, when they talk to, like, where it's like, you might like, because they talk about climate change, and Elon Musk, like, it's like the only time there's any type of pushback.
Yeah.
And it's like the only time they disagree on anything, and it has to do with like climate change. And, Trump is like, oh, hey, nice car, build a nice car, but not everybody, you gotta have gasoline,
Yeah.
And then, but like Elon Musk is like trying to explain in just like just in like air quality standards, like nothing else, just like, well, once this amount of CO2 gets in the air, we won't be able to breathe. So like, we gotta like just stop that.
Oh, okay.
Oil and gas, that's fine. I don't want to demonize.
Yeah.
Like he said, I don't want to demonize the oil and gas company like 30 times. Right?
Oh God, dude.
Just like absolutely just on his knees. Like, no, please don't be mad, But there was some point too, it's like Trump said something and he's like, no, that's false. Like actually said, no, that's false. And then said like, we don't have that much time for climate change, And it was just like, okay, interesting. But, then just goes back to glazing him about like literally everything else. And, and also trying to like sell himself as some type of like moderate centrist that literally isn't fomenting the great replacement theory.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what he tried to do with immigration too. He's like, I think there's some good immigrants or whatever. I think most of them are good. And it's like, okay, man, sure. Whatever you say, you fucking sick freak.
Because he tried to temper it a little bit with the whole, hey, some of them are good people or whatever. But like Trump ended up like hinting towards like just the straight up like Nazi ideology stuff of like disabled people coming here on purpose just to be taken care of.
Yes.
And people who can't work don't deserve help shit, which also coincides. I don't even see any reporting for Fred Trump, his nephew, and his nephew's disabled son.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he said that like Trump said to him that he should let his son die because he can't recognize him.
Yeah, I mean,
dude.
that makes sense. That's that's very in line with Trump's thinking, Yeah.
He's a fucking psycho. Like,
Also, I did very much like Trump being. It was either Trump or Elon. One of these idiots that was just like. And just like with Cuba, they sent us all the prisoners came here. I'm like, that's not who came here from Cuba back to
like
Castro
Bob and
days.
Ned, like Gold Bar Bob. Is that who you're talking about? Huh? You're talking about the guy that took money from Egypt like you did.
Those aren't the people that immigrated here back in the 60s. I can tell you who immigrated.
Yeah,
they may have owned some people, actually. Far as much as I remember.
Like Gold Bar Bob, they finally got you, Bob.
Yeah,
they finally got you.
God, dude,
no, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. And Venezuela as well. Like they're just asserting that the people that are leaving Venezuela are the prisoners. It's like, no, I don't think that's how immigration normally works. I think it's the people with money that are trying to come here because
And it's the sanctions that like Trump started and Biden, like that's where too is that like this guy, like you were literally at fault for when you talk when you talk about Venezuela,
like they literally,
Cuba.
the State Department told him like this is going to, these sanctions are going to force immigration from Venezuela. He's like, I don't care, do it.
The wall is going to be built by then.
Yeah. Or when he's talking about Russia too, he's just like, not in Russia. I think it was North Korea. It was either North Korea or no, I think it was still Venezuela. When he was like, I never did anything bad to them. I did tell them that nobody can buy oil from them or whatever. I was like,
it's very bad oil. Very bad oil.
Didn't
it's
hurt
not
him
good
once,
oil. That's
but
clean
also,
oil. Yeah. We had the clean oil here. Good clean oil.
Didn't hurt him once, but I sanctioned him. It was Iran. That's right. Yeah. Didn't do anything to Iran except sanction the shit out of them. God. That was all that I did.
And assassinate.
Not one finger.
Generals.
Didn't lay one finger on them.
No. Did nothing. Jesus
Incredible.
Christ.
What an entire event. But again, like, I don't know who that's for. Like, it's so disjointed. Nothing about it. Like, it's riddled with, mistruths, half-truths, etc.
All they've got is the like right wing, like manosphere podcasting bros. Like that's because like literally that is the only people who will just let them spew their bigotry without any pushback.
I guess so.
And it's not a winning strategy, but that is their strategy.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going for. That's what they're doing. And they're filling the ranks of their leadership pack, right, with people who think that this is the right strategy.
Yeah.
And those are the people who lost with Ron DeSantis. Although, to be clear, too, where the strategy is dog shit, but also Ron DeSantis is a huge like creep, so he can't even he has zero fucking riz. So there is that difference, but yeah.
I don't know. It's very funny. Also, the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, is the UAW filing a suit against them today because they also just apparently I didn't get to this part either, but they just casually sat around about like talked about labor violation and union busting. You know, where Trump is just like, listen, Elon, I like how you just go in there and you fire. You want them gone? They start striking. You want them gone and they're gone. And it's like, motherfucker, what are you guys doing?
Yes.
You can't say this?
Yeah, no, keep talking. Keep talking.
People are recording you, man. You can't just say that.
Literally, honestly, put a mic up to him and just keep talking.
Yeah. God, man.
Fantastic. He's a winner.
Yeah. Incredible. It's so cool that happened last night. All the technical difficulties is the first thing, that happened with Ron DeSantis. Everything about it, just such dog shit. I can't, again, is it going to convince people that are already going to vote for Trump? Sure. People like Tim Pool are going to be like, he looked amazingly strong. And Elon was just so fucking nice, But people outside of that, how are you getting more voters out of this?
I mean,
how are you energizing your voters to come out because of this?
Yeah. Good luck. It's on the Dems to lose. It really is. It's on the Dems to lose because they only have turning out the Joe Rogan, cake fuck, that's it's like, I don't like it. Good luck.
Speaking of the Dems getting the, Dems not to lose, I don't know. I think I don't want to give it to the Kamala campaign. I will just say that she has much smarter and more cunning strategists than Biden had, I think. And I think they are working on her rhetoric rally by rally, to see the difference between Michigan and Arizona over the span of 2 days. That was a sat down practice response where somebody got yelled at on Thursday, and they were like, hey, you can't fucking do that. Not in Michigan, especially. Here's what you get to start saying instead,
Yeah. Which it was one of the most tone deaf, ridiculous things.
Yeah.
And the thing that was which one, who is Kamala Harris?
Yeah.
Right? We have no idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know that we just an idea that exists outside of an extremely ancient man that was not able to take it to the finish line. And now she could be anything. She could be anything to so many different people.
Well, and but this whole idea of because that's the I'm speaking thing, that got first coined when she's talking with, or was doing the debate with JD Pence.
Yes, yeah.
Mike Vance, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
And that's hey, one-on-one. Two people debating, telling the man to shut the fuck up. I'm speaking that is a 10 out of 10 moment to use that.
It's great. Absolutely. You can't do that when there's on protesters in the crowd.
Of Muslim women trying to stop a genocide. Yeah. That's not the time. That's not the time, actually.
Nobody likes that. Well, there are fucking weirdo freaks that like that, but
the blue MAGA frothing at the mouth around them was pretty disturbing to see. But no, and that's where there was a shift. The Biden campaign did do this as well.
Yeah.
He went from just letting them like be shouted down to actually saying no, they've got a point. We're trying to get a ceasefire, blah blah blah.
But then they pivoted to, I guess we just don't have as big outings, like then they said, okay, well now we have to start clamping down because people are going to yell at us. Where I think like she's actually not just saying, hey, let him speak. She's saying, okay, we can address, we all want that thing. We need to address this, this needs to be, she's doing the Keir Starmer thing, I think, where it's like, Keir Starmer's not going to fundamentally change anything that happens in Israel, but he is paying lip service to people in the Labour Party and saying, well, but that's what we want. We want a ceasefire, guys. Am I right? This is bad.
Yeah. No,
she's
that's
taking
where,
that
though,
lane.
And that's where, like, Kamala Harris, especially after she did, after the event in Arizona, she did answer some questions.
Yeah.
And she essentially gave the State Department talking point.
Yes.
We want a ceasefire.
Yeah.
It needs to happen. We want to get a hostage deal. You know, Hamas, but Israel has the right to defend itself, and Hamas can't stay in power. Like it's really no different. It's just she's saying it, and it's definitely different than I'm speaking. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
I think at the end of the day, I mean, and you and I have talked about this before. I think she is kind of hamstrung by being a part of the Biden administration still. Like there's goods and bads from that, right? The goods are you put the economy stuff on him, you put the Gaza stuff on him for the most part. Like we don't know what the voting is going to look like in November. And if she pays lip service to this stuff, then I think maybe enough people just think to themselves, well, let's wait and see what she does. It can't be the same as Biden. But on the other side of that, it is also a very big negative because she can't do anything outside of what the State Department line is. She can't do anything outside of what Biden's doing. If she does, then, that's an affront to the Biden administration and the Dems, and that opens up a whole new can of worms.
I don't know that it does.
I don't either. I think it's a big win for her. I think it's a huge win for her to just be like, hey, you're right. All right. Benjamin Netanyahu is the same as Trump. He's disgusting to me, I agree. I think it would be, that was one of the biggest applause lines in Arizona is when she talked about the ceasefire.
Chuck Schumer called for Bibi Netanyahu to not be the fucking prime minister like months ago.
Yes.
Pelosi, after the speech, said it was one of the worst addresses that has ever been before Congress by a foreign leader. Yeah. Like, at the very least, choose the popular punching bag and swing away.
I don't disagree with you. I think of shades of, we're going to be in Chicago next week. I think of shades of 68, man. Like Humphrey did not know how to deal with it, wanted to deviate away from the Vietnam talking point, was unable to, counseled LBJ about it. And LBJ said, they'll fucking crucify you if you do. And just took way too long to get away from the talking point of we got to pull our boys out of Vietnam. And as a result,
and this is the thing though, and this is where I'm never, I think like people should be engaged in, and you should try and do these protests if you can. Get out there in order to get eyes on what's actually happening in any sort of way you can make pressure. Mm-hmm. And in the same way, right? Like they made Joe Biden a lame duck. For one thing, there needs to be pressure so that right now, right, in the same way they could understand Joe Biden being at the top of the ticket is a loser. Yes. They need to understand riding this genocide to the fucking goddamn election, not only just one of the most horrific things you could possibly do, other than what's already been allowed and funded and armed.
Yeah.
But it is going to, it puts it in all of the good vibes, right? It puts it in question. Absolutely. What happens when students are back on campus, right? What happens when it gets a little bit closer to election and campaign season is a little bit more in flux? What, do the arrest warrants come down? These are all things that are definitely coming down the pipeline that maybe this good feeling of a new person that Joe Biden goes away, and you just actually have to deal with the real issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the faster they get Joe Biden, lame duck ass Joe Biden, because this is where too, it's like, it's just off of niceties.
Yeah.
Like Kamala Harris, you really don't owe this motherfucker a damn thing.
She doesn't. She doesn't have to do shit. Absolutely.
Hey,
I'm just talking.
Shed that dead weight. Be unburdened by what has been. Stab this motherfucker in the back.
Right now, it looks like she is following conventional procedure, right? But yes, I think she should absolutely just be like, hey, listen, fuck you.
Then this is where, like you mentioned, though,
fuck you and fuck what you think. You know,
that is the lesson, right?
Yeah.
When you go back to like, what is the lesson of 68? It is shed the weight of your lame duck, Vice President.
Absolutely.
As early as you possibly can, especially on a moral issue.
Yep.
Like, because you Bibi Netanyahu, and this is where there's just so much evidence.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a ceasefire means hostages, and a ceasefire means a stop to U.S. bombs being dropped on schools. Because once Kamala Harris says, did you see what happened in this school where they bombed this mosque? Children's bodies strewn about? Then, like, you cannot deny that being the story.
Yes.
Kamala Harris going aside from Biden on this horrific bomb, you just can, because it is morally correct. You pick the bad guy, Bibi Netanyahu, and attach him to Trump, and whatever the Biden administration wants to keep attached to, that's on them.
Absolutely.
And
this is the way to pave forward, right? And make your distinction from the previous administration.
Yeah. Because this is the thing too, where it's like a lot of the fucking like when you say, oh, well, we're just going to stop this military involvement in the Middle East so much, that's shit that centrists and people on the right love now.
Yeah.
You know, actually bringing a cease to hostilities, that's things that most Americans actually are for. It's not controversial in any manner.
People don't. Yeah, I don't disagree. Like, people don't like a conflict. People overwhelmingly support a ceasefire. You know, because it's an easy political layup.
And the thing that's really scary too is what's Netanyahu thinking? And does he try and drag Biden into a war versus trying to drag Kamala or
it's an interesting idea, because I think there's some, I don't know if we've had this conversation. Maybe we talked about it a little bit last week, but, there was somebody intimating, somebody that's closer, their political reporter, saying that this was more or less the signal to Benjamin Netanyahu that it's time to wrap it up. Kamala's in here now. Things are going to change once she takes office. You've got X amount of months left with Biden, and then that's it. Now, is that true? I don't know, man. I don't know what to take of that. But if that's the idea, if that's one of the tertiary signals from Nancy Pelosi to also say, and also you're fucking done too. All right, not just Biden, but you've got to fucking stop. Then I don't know, man. I don't know the answers of what their machinations are behind the scenes. The Democratic Party that I know is probably just going to continue on with it. And
that's where those
the one that I've known in the past 4 years, at least. I
do think that they are liable to pressure, and especially as it regards to the campaign. Yeah. It is a sick thing, and that's where the pressure needs to be applied. Is that they want to be able to keep their jobs, and I think those protesters
were successful at the Michigan rally, right? They did force Kamala to change her political rhetoric. I think that should continue. They want to keep doing these barnstorm rallies. They want to keep going to different states. Excellent. Get her to keep saying ceasefire, Get her to say more.
Arms embargo. Yeah. Say arms embargo.
Get her to get the UAW, the SCIW, everyone. 11 labor unions are saying arms embargo. All right?
Yeah.
Get her on board with arms embargo. She wants to represent labor. She wants those votes.
And this gets Senator and this is where it's like the Leahy law. Senator or former senator, but he's still alive, and he has been lobbying, his former colleagues to use the law named after him because it is just so obvious. Israel has been denying aid, and you are not allowed to sell them weapons. You know what I'm saying? This is where prosecutor, attorney general, fucking no one's above the law, blah, 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 that shit. What does that really fucking mean? You know? What does that mean?
Listen, all I know is we held up aid shipments over it's not for nothing, obviously, but we held up aid shipments to Ukraine over some of them having Nazi patches, all right? Benjamin Netanyahu is engaging in a full-on fucking extermination campaign, and we haven't held up nothing to him? I need to make that make sense, you know?
Yeah.
Why are we still giving this man money? Why are we still giving this guy weapons?
Yeah. Because it's just a new era that it just needs to be stood on. This is just the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And not that I would actually think that any of them oh yeah, we're good, recognize Palestine, 1967 borders for Israel, everybody shut the hell up, that ain't gonna happen. But at the end of the day, that's the lesson of 68, it doesn't matter. Yes, you're in the administration. Yeah, it's going to be comfortable, but just get with a good comms person to deflect hey, yeah, I disagree with him on this, but we're not we've got different opinions in the party. I'm running as a presidential candidate, so I have to be able to say openly where we disagree. I'm still the vice president, and this is what I'm going to do. And let the White House, let Karine Jean-Pierre fucking deal with the difference on her end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, just be real. Say, listen, I am the vice president. I'm also running for president. You want to know where I'd be different? This is where it is. We're allowed to have disagreements in this party, and let's move on. And then, just stand on that. And that's the thing, is that that's what stops, you know what I'm saying? At least I don't know that's what stops, but at the end of the day, that gives way more credence for the protesters to say, okay, she's with us. We need to find a new way. Yeah. Right? We need to find, or not a new way, but the next thing, we need to move on because Kamala's with us.
Yes.
I don't know. Right?
We're going to see what happens, Yeah. And I wait with bated breath to see if the Democrats continue to repeat the mistakes of the past or forge ahead a new future. I will say, there is one thing, Marcus.
Yeah.
That I may become a single issue voter on.
That's right. Same.
That is the executive order that they want to pass to make it so that gyms can no longer withhold the cancellations of subscriptions from you. Just simple sheet from now on. Okay?
That's right. I want to be able to cancel easy.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to have to give my birth certificate, and blood for my first child so that I can leave Planet Fitness.
That's right. One button cancel.
Honestly, it's crazy that we are this fucking far out. Realistically, that corporations are this far out of the norm that they have to get rolled back. They have to be reeled in by the government, Also, fucking critical support to Lena Khan for this decision, honestly.
Where it's multiple things. And this is where, for one thing, Joe Biden and the Biden administration never actually wanted to do much for working class people.
No.
They largely just left it up to random negotiations. Joe Manchin kicked the shit out of them. They never really supported Pramila Jayapal as she was pushing for these things.
Yeah.
And you end up with a lackluster,
easy, basic consumer protections.
Yeah. And so over his administration, you end up with this lackluster policy for working class people as they feel it.
Yeah.
But hey, there's the, infrastructure projects, blah, blah, blah. But that's not what people actually feel in their wallet. They let the child tax credit go away, which was the one thing people with kids really felt in their wallet. And now you've got they're just trying to do everything that they possibly can to say they're dealing with inflation and the economy and helping working class people and all this type of stuff. These things this is nice, right? I don't want to be an asshole, right?
Also, the other bit of it, not being able to talk to humans and not chatbots when trying to cancel credit cards and banks. Jesus Christ, man.
Yes. Talking to a person, when your flight gets canceled, they have to refund it without bullshitting you. I mean,
I took a screenshot of it years ago. I spent 5 hours on the phone with American Airlines to get them to refund the flight.
I didn't watch my dad growing up as a kid argue with a cashier for 20 minutes over a year-long expired coupon and still get the deal to not be able to get a refund on my back and airplane ticket. But it's absurdity, right? Because you buy shit, it doesn't work, you get money back, right? Yeah. That's simple shit. Hey, I'm doing this. I don't want to do it anymore. It's canceled. That's basic shit that has been we've just been fucked over for years now, right? For years. And so,
we're getting the basic lifelines back now.
It's hard to say it's even table scraps. It's like some of the meat sweat that we're just getting dripped into our mouth right now. You know what I'm saying? We're not even getting real morsels. It's just the steam above the
we get to smell the pie.
roast.
We don't get the pie. We're just getting lifted off the ground, levitated towards it. That's it.
Yeah. But that's where those this is good, these are good, and this is dope, but when does it actually happen? You know? And that's what, no one's really paying attention, these types of, they do these announcements and we see it because we're nerds.
Yes.
But, when does a person notice, oh, hey, this website is just less shitty than it used to be? And do they attribute that to Joe Biden and the administration?
Right, that's what he talked about in his Sunday morning interview. He was just we should have been putting signs on the interstates to let people know we were doing these things. And it's I don't know, man. Maybe I don't or you just also do popular material benefit things that don't have to take place over the course of a decade plus that people would How about you did that? Child tax credit was a thing that was a material benefit that kept kids
people
from starving, and people loved that. Why didn't you keep that up?
Yeah.
Oh well, it wasn't my choice. No, it could have been if you controlled your party.
Literally.
Why didn't you do that?
Literally. And this is where everything, I know it's kind of surprising that this even come up yet. Okay. The F word. Yeah. Filibuster.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Filibuster. Yeah. I agree.
How do they talk about any of these things? How do they talk about any of these things about protecting reproductive rights, about getting through the Voting Rights Act? There's no way for the Democrats to get a 60 plus seats. This is not, it's impossible. No.
We math it. I've been sitting around mathing this shit out for over a year at this point with Chad. I'm pull everything up. Pull up the 2026 elections and even 2028. Let's get crazy.
Yeah. So
Democrats are not getting a majority until maybe 2030 if you really start fucking wrangling the edges.
If they aren't willing to get rid of it, nothing that actually matters.
Yeah, it is an excuse to not do things. Just get rid of it. If you are the popular party, which is increasingly looking like you are, and that the American people believe you are, that's it. You get the mandate of heaven, go with it. Get rid of the
and
filibuster.
This is where
is a trap.
The thing is, because the thing is too, where like when like Republicans do the fear mongering of, well, once you do it, then we're going to do it too. But that's the thing is like they are unpopular.
Yes.
Like
who cares? They don't get to do it because they're unpopular. This is
and like not just Tim Walz, but like the Minnesota legislature and all of the people who work their asses off on the issues and knocking doors to get any of those people elected. Whereas if you've got one seat, you wield power.
That should be instructional to the Democratic Party. Right? States like Minnesota, states like Michigan,
Yes. And that's what too is like Michigan hedged way more than Minnesota did on some of the policies that they could have fucking put through. But do it. Get rid of the filibuster, do popular things, and you will never have to worry about it again.
Yes.
You should just get rid of the Senate, by the way, but that, that's long-term shit.
Also true. Yeah. Polish a couple places. Supreme Court. And everything will be fine.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm super happy that, whenever I cancel a gym membership in 2032, I could, it's going to be just a one easy click. I'm going to thank Brandon for his service. And then I'm going to get arrested when I'm peeing on his grave.
Yeah. It's true. That's fair. That's valid. I respect it. I agree with it. Yeah. No, I just think it'll be good for old people, honestly. Like, I think that's the best thing is this is just an incredibly predatory thing for specifically our older population, and it is just nickel and diming and just like caving away at whatever they have to survive in this world, and it's just like, just that, at least. Like, for me, I don't know. I literally just got another bank to get away from Planet Fitness. They called me and they were like, hey, it looks like we don't have payment on file. I was like, yeah, you don't. And they were like, can we get a new one? I was like, nah, you can't. Talk to you later. Is that okay?
No.
Yeah. Guess it has to be.
Yeah. Though it's like, honestly too, it's like, but that's like so much of everything of our world now. It's like there's always an extra fee and there's always an extra this and an upcharge and an upcharge and an upcharge. And it's just like, man, we used to have a country where the ranch dressing was free. Yeah. And
God,
we got to go back to that.
We used to have a country where the sauce packets were free. They're 25 cents now a piece at Burger King. Oh, what are we doing?
A whole ass drawer full of Taco Bell fucking packets.
Disgusting.
Right? I used to have a whole ass drawer full. Now what?
Now what? Sick of this place. What's your silver lining, Marcus? Let's get on the road.
In my silver lining is meeting some people who I've known online for a while in Chicago. I'm very excited. There's a whole lot of stuff that we're going to be doing, which is dope as far as like the media project, I'm excited to just be able to have some camaraderie meals with some comrades.
Yeah. It's going to be nice.
It's going to be comradeship. Fun.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be cool. What about you?
Same. I'm ready to fuck up some Filipino food, man. It's going to be amazing. We're eating like two days in a row. Oh, it's going to be so cool. I mean, different types, obviously, but
it's going to be good.
It's going to be nice. Also, I'm excited to get my steps in around Chicago. I'm going to walk all around that fucking city.
I'm excited to just, was it the L?
L train's good. It's fun. I like the L train. Gets you. Just coming back from so you normally just take it from hotel to your airport to hotel, etc. But you can take it around the city. It's got a lot of good, it's a good public transit city.
Like maybe one time you just take a lap, might do a lap, just take a lap, right? But no, it'll be done. It'll be dope.
Yeah. Wait, Steph, how tall are you? What the fuck?
Yeah,
Is this short or tall now?
Yeah. So I was wondering, it's like,
that's a weird way to phrase it. I don't know. We're gonna find out, I guess.
Normally people
I think Steph's like 5'1".
Deceived by how tall I am because I have the camera angle down, right? But when they meet me, they're coming from the other angle.
It's always confusing to people, and they're like, "What the fuck? What's wrong with you? Why are you a giant?" Awesome.
Camera tricks. Yeah, it's Hollywood magic.
Hollywood magic. Because streamers don't have legs.
It's true. Facts.
Yeah. Yeah. Steph, I would never say that. We got to get out of here. All right. Let me get all the things. Let me get all the stuff done and stopping. I'm ending recording. We're gonna be back next week live from Chicago.
Subscribe. Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't do the actual like ending of the podcast though, where you say ring the bell and
ring the bell and do all the things. We'll literally see you from Chicago next week, chat. All right,
live.
All right, live. Actually, live. It's gonna be crazy.
Live.
Yeah. See you soon, chat.